Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Farming Simulator 19. We've just woken up from our nap in our fancy John Deere tractor. And I think our first order of business, other than maybe grabbing a cup of coffee, is going to be to go get a seeder, since we just completed the cultivating of this field. So, got her started up. Go ahead and start the journey. Let's try and squeeze between these bushes, and we did. So go ahead and hop onto the road. Nobody coming from here, right? Nope. Oh, don't turn hard. Don't sit on the steering wheel. So we'll go ahead and make the short little trip over to the shop so we can see what we can get. Now, I did look a little bit at what we could possibly get, and one of the ones I loved, turns out we can't even use because this thing does not allow us to attach anything to the front, since it only has the front weight or bust mentality. Kind of makes me wish I'd gotten a 6R, but what can you do? This thing is a good tractor, especially for the price. It can do quite a bit. Just means we can't get quite as big of implements behind us. And I love this map so far. It does look really good. The tractor looks really good as well. Like, especially one, you can actually see through the grill. That's a nice little touch. And two, the lights do look quite a bit better. They also look really good if you don't drive off the road. So, coming up here to the shop, we'll see what we can get. Now, keep in mind this thing does have 165 horsepower, so we aren't going to be able to get a huge one. Oh god. Oh, I'm just in front, but I'm still going to go because that is way too close for comfort. But like I was saying, we have to keep in mind we have 165 horsepower. We don't have anything insane. So, let's go ahead and get out here and see what we can find in terms of seeders. So, smallest Amazon, I don't think we really want to pick that one up. This one requires 180. I think we could get away with it, but I'm not sure I'm going to do that. This thing only requires 150 horsepower. That is incredible. We might splurge and buy that, depending on what else is out there. The only thing about it is the fact that for all that money we're spending, it does not fertilize at the same time, which is something I would really like to get. We could do this, but it has such a small seed capacity. You know what? I think we're going to risk it and get this, the Rapid A 600S, a staple throughout farm sim games in the past. And it means we don't have to cultivate necessarily. Although, let's look here. It might be smarter to go ahead and just get this one. It's bigger. It meets the horsepower requirements. I think, yeah, we'll go with the solitaire. Go ahead and purchase that. We'll come back here and go ahead and get some seed for it, the big bags. Purchase. Let's go ahead and purchase 4 of these, so we can just leave it sitting in there as we need. You just spent $110,000 on this, so this thing better be worth it. Go ahead and get the tractor started up, and let's get her attached here. Once we get the field sowed, planted, whatever you want to call it, we'll see what there is for contracts. Maybe, if we're lucky, there will be a seeding mission that we can do. And why will this thing not refill? Even though it says it can refill. Do I need to open the cover first? Oh, I think I know what it is. Let's unfold it. Don't hit. Oh my god, we hit the light pole. Let's open the cover. Now we can refill it. That's actually really neat that it forces you to do that. So I'm trying to do this without hitting that light pole again, which is not going to be possible from the looks of it, really. So actually, here's how we're going to do it. Let's back her up here. Just do it this way. It's totally not approved, but it works. So I don't think they would appreciate us driving all over their parking lot like this, and all over their storefront. But you got to do what you got to do to get your cedar refilled. Am I right? So the third bag done real quick. I'm also, I don't know if any of you used it, but I fell in love with the gearbox mod in FS17, so I'm really hoping that comes out pretty quickly, especially because I am so used to having to switch it into reverse and having a dedicated brake. So definitely something that I'm hoping we get soon. So let's go ahead and head back over to the field. I'm sure that we are also going to end up coming back and buying a fertilizer very quickly. Especially since this thing does not fertilize while it seeds. Which means we also might have to either we might get a new tractor, get us a nice little small one, just for that. They can carry a fertilizer behind it. Oh, and this thing is feeling underpowered already. I don't know why we bought this big of a planter, even though it says it'll work as far as horsepower. It should be reserved for a large tractor, not a medium-sized one. But alright, we are coming up on our turn. And I am currently debating what crop do we want to sow. Because I don't know if I want to do wheat, barley, oat, canola, soybeans. But let's just see what all of our options are. There's oat, canola, soybean. You know what? I think we might start with some oilseed radish. Since once they grow, they end up fertilizing your crop, providing some fertilization. That might be a good way to kind of save and not have to use quite as much fertilizer. Because if it's anything like FS17 was, it doesn't take a whole lot of seed to do oilseed radish. So I think that's how we're going to start this off. So let's go ahead and get back here so we can do a headland. This thing is also kind of twitchy from the looks of it. So, alright, let's go ahead and get started here. Turn on the planter. We will start with our headland. Alright, and I will see you guys once this field is sown with our oilseed radishes. Alright, so we have just a couple more passes to do real quick with the seeder, and I gotta say, I'm impressed with how well this tractor is handling it. Now, the seeder says it can operate at 11 miles an hour. We're only able to go about 6, but considering that the other implements that this thing was rated for based on horsepower, those were only 3 meters wide, so even at that speed, we're covering an insane amount of ground. This is actually a surprisingly good purchase. And I'm amazed that we can actually work it. And of course, it's just a little bit too narrow from the looks of it to be able to finish it off with one more pass. We're going to have a tiny little spot that we have to hit real quick before we can call it quits. So we'll go ahead and start the turn now. We'll finish this last little bit. We will call it a field. So, alright, we have that done, so let's go ahead and fold her up a little bit so that we can make the turn, and we will put it right next to our cultivator over here. A quick little drive over. That cultivator is not too bad. I'm curious, though, how big of a cultivator we could have gotten if we had a slightly bigger tractor, or maybe there's a bigger one that had the horsepower requirement, but I don't think there was. So go ahead and park it right up here. Go ahead and unhook that. We'll turn off the engine, come over here and look to see what all contracts there are. So the fertilizer mission. We have another fertilizer mission right here. And this one right here. Now, let's take a look real quick at what fertilizers there are over here. Now we can do the spreaders such as these, which, okay, I do need to say this. This same spreader in FS17 was 24 meters. I am trying to figure out what exactly changed to cause it to suddenly be 12 meters and need a spreading unit to even get to 18. So, because of that lone fact, it almost makes me want to just purchase this one, even though it takes and holds a whole lot less. But let's also see what there is in sprayers. So there is the Deltis 1302, 21 meters wide, but it's also, you're having to deal with a sprayer. I think we'll go with the, let's purchase the K105 with the big extension because it's only $750 for it. We will go with narrow tires so that we can use it on crops, and the 6-meter spreading unit. We're kind of purchasing things as we go. Now, one of the big things with this, let's go ahead and get some pallets, some big bags, and I'm going to go ahead and fill this thing all the way up. Now, Giants, one thing I do wish you guys would add, if you, for some reason, watch this video ever, is whenever we are purchasing fertilizer bags, I hope you guys would allow us to simply, we need 3 more to fill it all the way up, but I wish you would let us choose, like, you know, do we want to purchase 5 of these at a time, 4 of these at a time, 14 of these at a time, as I just did, so that we're not having to just keep hitting enter or clicking yes, 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 yes. I mean, I don't know how difficult that would be to add, but I feel like it would be a nice little touch that we could possibly have added to the game. So let's go pick this thing up. And once we do, before we fertilize our own field, I think since there were some fertilizer contracts there, I think we should go ahead and do one of those. You know, make a little bit extra money. And the fact that we get to use our own equipment is really nice as well with them. And that's one thing I do love about this game, is that you don't have to lease your equipment anymore. You can save money. So if there were a whole bunch of harvesting missions available right now, I probably would be buying a harvester instead and doing those. Come on, Grandma. Need you out of my way. I need to go get some money, because I've spent almost 450,000 already, and I'm living in a tractor. So let's go ahead and make this corner. Check and make sure there's nothing on the railroad tracks or on the road. We look like we're good. I really don't want to get run over. Not today, at least. So, God, look at how massive this spreader is. Jesus. It's taller than my tractor with its large extension. So, up here, get it connected. You can see the PTOs there. We will go ahead and start getting the spreader loaded. Get it filled. So I will do that real quick, and then once we get it loaded, we will see what kind of jobs there are. So I will speed through this really quickly. I'm sure you guys don't want to sit here watching a tractor fill a trailer. And with that, we have completely filled the spreader with the fertilizer. So let's come over here and look and see what all jobs there are. So we can go all the way up to field 4, 25.5 acres. I love the fact that they added acres to this. We could also do field 12. Let's look on the map and see where each one is. So 12 is this bad boy right here. 4 is all the way up here. You can also fertilize 23, which didn't need to hit that. 23 is down here. So I think first thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and go fertilize field 4. I think we can do it ourselves. We don't need to lease the equipment. We can save some money there. So let's go ahead and get the drive up there. I will see you guys at field 4. Alright, so now that we are across the bridge, you can see we are coming up on field 4, right over here to our right. So let's go ahead and get started with all of this. We need to unfold the spreader, and we can go ahead and get started fertilizing this bad boy. So let's go. And I did not realize just how wide this was. I'm definitely surprised by it. I don't mind it, but it's definitely a change. So let's go ahead and get these end rows done. Now this field is really large, but luckily we do have a pretty good sized spreader. I'm actually amazed at how little fertilizer it's actually using. I did not need to buy nearly that much, but good to have for the future, especially since I'm sure there will be quite a few fertilizing contracts, and we won't have to buy fertilizer for a while to complete them, which I think is a massive plus. Anyway, with that said, we'll see you guys when we're about done with this field. Okay, so I think we should be coming up on just one more pass required after this one. And I gotta tell you, this field, even though it is large and it feels large, this spreader actually makes really quick work of it, and I'm very impressed by it. So let's go ahead and get to the end here, and then we can flip a UE. And hopefully we can get that last little patch done, which shouldn't be too much of an issue. Now, we did finish it, but I'd feel kind of bad if we didn't hit this last little bit for them. Because, I mean, they are paying us a decent amount. I mean, I say decent like it's, you know, a little bit. They're paying us 14 grand to fertilize this field. That is incredible money, and I'm definitely going to do the best I can in response for that. So, got this little triangle we just got to finish off, and then we got another small triangle we got to hit really fast. And then we can go and do another contract real quick, get some more fertilizing done for them. Make it a little bit more money. Then I think we'll call it a night after we fertilize our own field. So I am going to try and do the oilseed radishes every time, and here's my thought process on that. Our tractor does not have the, you know, care wheels, the narrow tires like the spreader does on it, this fertilizer spreader. And because of that, we do need to worry about destroying the crop. Since you only have to do 2 levels, I will have to do narrow tires. Crap. For the weeder. Although we might not worry about that too much. I mean, we'll figure that out. Maybe it's an excuse to buy another tractor. But, real quick, while we're over here at this field, let's go ahead and accept the payment. Nearly $15,000 for that. That is really impressive. So, on the way back to our field, we will go hit number 12 real quick. And as you can see, there are harvest missions coming up, so we might have to consider buying a harvester fairly soon. Unless we just want to use their stuff. Yeah, I think that we're just going to use theirs for now if we decide to pick up that mission, because that is a very large field, and that would be a lot of trips if we tried to use, like, for example, the bison. Now, we could hire a worker to run the combine, but that's still quite a bit of money that we'd be spending on the workers. So yeah, I think we'll hold off on that one for now. We might consider leasing, but for right now, I'm not going to consider picking up a combine quite yet. I think I'll save that until we end up actually needing one for our own field. And then if, for example, you know, field 15, field 16 needs a combine, you know, we can do it then. We can combine from then. We can use our own. But for right now, I don't think it's cost effective to go ahead and buy that. So, looks like if we just take this road, and I will try and obey the bridge speed limit, be a good tractor. It looks like if we just follow this until the dirt road, we should be good to go. We need to hop onto field 12, because there's field 6 directly to our left. And then on the other short end of it will be field 12. So let's stay in the lines. Let's not drive drunk. We don't need the cops coming after us quite yet. Nobody coming at us, so we'll go ahead and make the left onto this dirt road. And with it being a rectangle as it is, I think we'll be okay if we don't do end rows on it necessarily. If we just go straight down, although I think I'll do one end row just on this end, not a full headland, which would require, you know, going all the way around, but I think doing a simple end row on this field would go a long way. So let's go ahead and get her unfolded. We'll make the turn and start doing an end row for her. Going across. I'm impressed that this tractor can pull this large of an implement because this is a very big fertilizer spreader for it. And it is handling it like a champ, like nothing else matters with it. You know, I feel like a lot of tractors even would struggle with this one just because it holds 14,000 liters, so when it's full, it's going to have quite a bit to pull behind it. So we've got that end row done. We will start going down the field. So I will catch up with you guys once we are about finished with this field. We can head home. Alright, so coming up to the end of this row, and I think, I'm praying, I'm hoping, just looking at it, I think we might be able to get it done with one more pass. I'm thinking we will. So it looks like it should be just the right width. And it is. That is an incredible feeling. So, once we get this done, we'll fold it up, we'll head to our farm, and we will get our own field fertilized real quick before we crawl back into bed in our fancy new John Deere tractor. And I can see that the maintenance bar is actually already dropping. That's pretty impressive. Now, one thing I am curious about is I have 1 hour on this tractor so far, and it looks like it's about an eighth of the way down. So if I didn't have implements behind it, if I wasn't working it so much, would it be slower to accumulate, slower to drop? I'm thinking it would, and I'm hoping it would, but I'm curious about that right now. So we'll get this folded up, and we'll go ahead and come over here, accept the contract, get our $6,500, and we will find a empty-ish spot. Actually, we'll go over to this road because it is the one that we just go straight down to get back to our farm. You can even see on the little mini-map our implements sitting over there. So we'll go ahead and look, nobody on there. We will come up here and we will get to our own field. So looks like no traffic. We'll go ahead and cross. There goes the train. Choo choo. Chugga chugga. It's off the track, which is really nice. Come on, barricades. There you go. So go ahead and cross the track real quick. And we will get onto our own property once again. So go ahead and get out of here. We'll go ahead and unfold it real quick. Self set up here. So think we've got it pretty well organized. So let's go ahead and get this field fertilized. Shouldn't take us too long. It looks like maybe 2.5 passes and she'll be done. So we've got her sprayed on this side, well, fertilized using solid fertilizer. I would also like to apologize to whoever owns Field 15 for running over some of their crops. Luckily, they're much more resilient than our own crops are. And go across, just so we can get this part done. Make the corner since we are a little wide there. We'll just do it this way. Have a little bit of fun with it. And the left side is good on it. Now, I'll do the corner again, just because it picks up that little area. And we will do the middle triangle. Which will take very little time. We have a tiny little portion. I will just back up and do a little blip. Go forward and do a little blip. And our field is fertilized, and I think we're good for the day. You know, I think we did quite a bit. You know, we took our nap, did the cotton harvest on here, bought the field and fertilized it. Took a little nap, and we went out and bought the cedar. We planted some oilseed radish on here, which is going to be really nice. Combined with the fertilizer spreader right here, it means that we are going to get 100% fertilized as far as yield. Go ahead and disconnect this, turn off the engine, and we'll get out here. We did 2 contracts for them with it. The fertilizer spreader. You can see it is fertilized here, so we are good to go there. And we didn't just do any fields. We did number 4, which is one of the larger ones on the entire map. We did 12, which is another solid sized field made about 25,000, not 25,000, 21,000 with it. On a field, we have a nice little house here known as a John Deere 6155M. God, look at how beautiful that thing is. Look at that radiator just floating in there. Makes me kind of wish we could open up the hood and look inside. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you guys see this before I plant whatever crop we have after the oilseed radish comes up, make suggestions on what you want to see for a crop. You know, do you want to see wheat, barley? Heck, I could even go out and see how cheap a corn planter is, and maybe we could even do corn and run the bison with one of those little corn headers. But hope to see you guys on the next video.